Hi everyone on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators and football fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts about Week 14 and my picks for the 2021 NFL season. Check it out. First off, before I get to my thoughts about Week 14, I want to send my condolences out to the people who were affected by the Western Kentucky tornado. Towns like Mayfield, Benford, Dawson Springs, and Bremen. I mean, they're a little hurt right now due to the effects of what happened over the weekend. So, because of the big tragic tornado, it was an EF3 plus tornado, which was that lost over 51 people and 103 people missing. So, my condolences out to the people who are affected about this tragedy, about the people in Western Kentucky, and send my thoughts and prayers out to you, especially right now with Christmas coming around the corner. You want to be around with family and friends, and all of a sudden you lose them at a big tragic, like a big weather storm, like a tornado and stuff like that. So I want to send my condolences out to people who are affected out of that Western Kentucky tornado over the weekend, and send my thoughts and prayers out to you, and hope you're doing really well and everything else like that. So anyways, just keep my condolences out to everyone out there and wish you all the best. So anyways, that being said, let's continue on. My thoughts about last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers in Minnesota. This was a game I thought Pittsburgh was going to come back and win, but Kirk Cousins just came back strongly, which Kirk Cousins has really struggles on prime time, so that's pretty much why I didn't pick them to win last week. But anyways, Minnesota won that. Kirk Cousins got the game-winning win, hold up the win before preventing Steelers to come back. Cleveland and Baltimore. Well, for Cleveland's case, it was a good win to keep up with the division. And despite Cincinnati's case, we'll get to Cincinnati in a minute. But with Baltimore's case, though, you're just going down for the number 2 or number 1 in the AFC, and all of a sudden you lose on Lamar Jackson with a high ankle sprain, which is really, really tough for Baltimore to swallow up. You lost a lot of players out on injuries and everything else like that. So, yeah, so that was pretty much a big tragic loss and everything else on that. Yeah, everything else like that. So that was pretty much a big injury report for Lamar Jackson. So there was pretty much a big, really outside. First you lose like your star cornerback, which with the injuries, with the loss. Then because of Mylon Humphrey's injury. So now you lose Lamar Jackson, which is really even worse. Lamar Jackson's kind of like the heart and the soul in the team, probably the franchise quarterback. Well, the franchise player for Baltimore right now. So I think that being said, I think for Baltimore's case, though, I think you really need to regroup and see what you can do against Green Bay. That's all I can tell about that. Tennessee and Jacksonville. Tennessee got the win that they needed, and they're still going to keep their playoff hopes alive. Get the shot at the division right now in this AFC South. Kansas City and Oakland. Kansas City and the Las Vegas Raiders. KC needed to hold up for the win, and they needed to keep their top 2, be in one of the top seeds in the AFC right now, which is bigly flown open right now. And that being said, though, the New Orleans Saints and the Jets, New Orleans doing what they need to do to keep their playoff hopes alive. So, and now with the New York Jets situation, you're looking to be in a top 5 draft pick. Dallas and Washington, that was a good comeback for the Dallas Cowboys. They needed a comeback, and they did. And they end up winning the game against the Washington football team. And Tyler Heineke, I really think he's going to be playing next week despite the injury. I think he'll be just fine. I think he's on day-to-day. So we'll find out as the week goes on and see we go from there. Carolina and Washington. Carolina, I think they needed a win if they needed to, but unfortunately Atlanta came up beat out the better team and they came back and won it. Well, not really came back, but they just had to hold on to the win, and that was it. Seattle and Houston. This is a win that Seattle needed. It was a must-needed win for Seattle. But if you're Seattle's case right now, you're just playing for pride right now. So, but I don't really blame much of Pete Carroll. Really, I know a lot of people are saying it's Pete Carroll's fault or anything else like that. I don't really see it. They have a young, talented core, but I think the next few years, like I mentioned last week, they're going to be a top defensive team in the last few years to come. They're just still a young, talented core right now. So anyways, that being said, Denver and Detroit, that was a must-win for Denver, but they did what they needed to do to win. But if you're Denver right now, you're playing for pride too, like you are for Houston's case or Seattle's case right now. You're playing for pride too. So that was pretty much what it was right now for that. The LA Chargers and the New York Giants. Well, the LA Chargers keep their playoff hopes alive with the win. And now they're in, I believe, the number 7 spot, if I'm not mistaken, if I pull out the playoff seeds right now. So as far as I'm concerned, last I checked the playoffs for the AFC, I think for they're number 7 right now, which because of one game in particular, which I will get to that in a bit, because it's a really, really surprising one right now in there. But for the playoff picture right now, though, that got the LA Chargers in the playoff picture, which I believe they're number 6 or 7, which I'm trying to stand out for that to see if I can upload it right now. But anyways, it's not really showing it, but I think the way I see it right now, I think that was a must-win for the LA Chargers just to keep their hopes alive. But it didn't work. But all because of one game in particular, and that was the Bucs and the Buffalo Bills, which was a very, very fantastic game for the Buffalo Bills in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But unfortunately if you're Buffalo, you're pretty much in a tough position right now. That puts the playoff, the wild card, wide open for them. And that being said, in my take, it's nothing against Buffalo like I mentioned last week. But for this case alone, if Buffalo don't win out and miss the playoffs, I forget where they started, but they started like at least in the first place of the year and they end up blowing it, so. But not yet. But but I'm just saying in general, if they don't make the playoffs, I believe what their standings was before where they started, and like around the first 5 weeks of the year, they were like 4-1, or now they're 7-6 or something like that. So no, I'm sorry, they were at least like 4-2 coming up to that Jacksonville Jaguars game. So, anyways, that being said, I think They were 5-3 to start the season up after their first 7 games. Well, sorry, 3 games, my bad. So something like that. So after their first, like at least something like that, like the first 8 games of the year, they were like 5-8. All of a sudden, they've been struggling. They only won 3 out of 3 of the last 7, so they went on to that now. And because of that, if they don't win out, if they don't beat Carolina, they don't beat the Patriots, Falcons, and the last game of the New York Jets, this could be a very, very tough road. But the good news for them, the last 5 games, they're like 4 out of 5. They're at home, so I think should be all right for them. But I think because if they don't win out the next few games, I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs. And if that's the case, we could be seeing one of the worst chokes in season history to start off 5-3 and don't make the playoffs. That's kind of like shot in the dirt right there. Be like the '93 Dolphins and the 2008 Cowboys or the 2008 Jets or even the 2009 Broncos at that point. I mean, that's the way I look at it. They could be working on one of the tough collapses like that. So, anyway, that's a thought, And because of that, but the little good news is that Cincinnati lost to San Francisco, denying their chance to get into a playoff berth right now in the playoff chances. But, San Francisco in there and that being in there and denying that, Cincinnati at home. So I think that was a really good chance for Buffalo's case scenario on that point. Anyways, that being said, Sunday Night Football with the Packers in Chicago, it was one of the most high-scoring games I've seen in a long time for that rivalry. So it's kind of, for Aaron Rodgers' case, it was kind of like welcome to the NFL for Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is going to be a good player in years to come. I mean, I really think that. I think despite the loss, I really thought Justin Fields played really well. Still deny me all I want. I'm a Justin Fields guy. I know I've been raving him all year. That my Patriots should have gotten him and anyone else should have gotten him and all that. But if I'm the Chicago Bears fan, I would be really happy for Justin Fields. I just think he needs a coaching change right now. I think that's the way I see it right now. But anyways, let's continue on for the Monday Nighter. Arizona and the LA Rams, despite the loss, For Arizona, that puts Green Bay on top of the NFC in that rankings right now. Despite all that, I think Arizona defensively offensively, they're still a good offense. I think it's still better than Green Bay personally, but I think that being said, I think offensively, I think Arizona's a much better offense than Green Bay is. But if you're talking about defense, I'm going to probably choose Green Bay's defense over Arizona right now. But these are two similar teams, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay still would be number one and number two to be Arizona. So if I'm Arizona, I wouldn't worry necessarily too much about that. It's just a division game, you want to get the number one seed. But I still think Arizona's going to still make it far in the playoffs, despite that loss. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals would meet in the playoffs. I would not be surprised with that because these are two good, talented defensive teams, and I think if the next time go around, I think Arizona's going to take that win on that. So at my viewpoint, Arizona's going to look at it as a productive point. Now, I still think they could have won the game. They just need another chance to beat the Rams, and I think they're probably going to do that in the playoffs. So anyways, because of that, now I got my thoughts, my overall record. Straight up, I went 11-3 overall, only losing to the Thursday night opener, the Monday night game, and I'm losing to the, what else did I lose to? Oh yeah, lose to the Carolina game. So that was the only Carolina-Atlanta game, so those are the only three I got wrong. So, because of that, I'm 108 and 93 and 2 overall of the year. 132, 66 and 1 overall of the year, My against the spread I went 9-5, and overall for the year was 108, 93 and 2. And only the 5 losses I did on that one, was the Thursday nighter on that one. And I lost to the for the Dallas game, Dallas and Washington. I lost to the Carolina-Atlanta game, and everything else like that, And I lost the Denver-Detroit game. That I took Detroit to cover that, but I didn't get it. And I just lost the Arizona-Los Angeles Rams game. And because of that, my over and under was similar to the against the spread. So I think it was 9-5, but I'm 105, 96 and 2 overall in the year, just losing a bunch of those on that one. So the 5 losses I did over and under was KC and the Vegas Raiders. I lost to the Dallas and Washington game. I lost that over and under. And I also lost the over and under in Carolina-Atlanta, which is kind of like, oops. And not only that, I lost the, what was the last one? What was the last one I did? Oh yeah, it was the Arizona and LA Rams. So I went the donut on the Arizona and Rams on Monday night, and the Thursday night I did the donut that way too. So if you guys took my picks on those, I'm sorry. Made you guys lose some money on those. But anyways, that being said, it was a good overall week. I'm going to try to continue that in week 15. Okay, let's continue with the Thursday night game with the AFC West division rival with the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Chargers. This is a game I expect to be a tough one. These are the must-win situation for both teams. If I had to pick a Thursday night game, it's going to be one of the best Thursday night games of this year. This game's probably it. So anyways, that being said, I think for this game, I expect to be a really, really close game. I expect a defensive game, to be honest with you. Despite who the quarterbacks is, Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. I think those guys are going to play well, but these two teams are on a defensive end on that one. So I think it's going to be a defensive battle at this point. I really think it's going to be coming over that. So anyways, I think the way I'm going to look at it, I think who's going to have the best defensive game that's probably going to win the game. So I think that being said, I think it's going to belong to Kansas City. So I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs over the LA Chargers in this game in LA. And on the line, though, the Chiefs are favored by 3 in this game. I'm going to take the LA Chargers +3 because I think it's going to be like down to a 1-possession game. And the over and under is 51. I'm going to go to under 51 because I really think this is going to be like in the low range on that one. So I'm going to see that one coming. So I'm going to take under 51. The Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Cleveland Browns are at home. They're going to be in the dog pound. So they've been pretty good at home all year. This is a game that's a must-win for Cleveland to get the wild card hopes alive. But I think they're going to try to take this one and cover it up. I think for the Las Vegas Raiders, I think it's time to rebuild with a new coach and everything else like that. But if I were the Vegas Raiders right now, if I were the if I were the Vegas Raiders right now, I would take Rich Basket as their promote him as the head coach. I think he's doing a decent job. If I'm them. So that my case scenario, I think that they should keep him on as head coach with Rich Basket right now. I think this is the game that. Well, I think this is a coach that they need to win, and then they're doing an okay year. I think they're gonna be all right. They're still in fourth in the standings, but I think he could turn that team around the last few years. So if I were the Raiders, I would still keep him on. So as an promote him as the head coach. So I think that's the best way to go for that. So anyways, that's the way I'm gonna go with it for the Vegas Raiders. But anyways, I'm still gonna take Cleveland over the Vegas Raiders in this game. And on the line, though, the Cleveland is favored by 6 in this game. I'm going to take Cleveland -6. Over and under is 42. I'm going to go over 42 because I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, despite the Raiders are really last in the AFC West. The Buffalo Bills and the Carolina Panthers. Now, this game is a must-win situation for Buffalo right now. They have to win. If they don't win out, at least win one of the, I believe, 2 of the 5 last 5 games of the year, they're in trouble right now. But if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I would be really cautious on how they're going to win this game. Because Carolina, they're in the mediocre right now. But I think they're going to probably look for a new coach as well if I'm going to see that. But I think the way that where Buffalo is going to concern, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills over the Carolina Panthers in this game and in Buffalo in this game. But on the line, Buffalo's favored by 11 in this game, which is I'm still questioning why on that one. But I'm going to take Carolina +11 because I don't think Buffalo's going to cover. Over and under, it's 43. I'm going to go over 43. I'm sorry, I skipped one. My Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. That game, I think, is going to be a high-scoring game. I really think so on this one. I really think that we're going to... I know, despite the Patriots on Monday night on their before that bye week they had, but this game, I really think this is going to be a game that's a must-win situation if they win out because of that Buffalo loss last week. If they win against Indianapolis, I think they get that division, so they're going to wrap up that division. So I think they're going to be back on top of the AFC East. So this is a must-win situation for the Patriots right now. And if they win that, they get the division. I do believe it's going to be a really, really good game. And I still don't understand why that Vegas is doing what they're doing with this. But I'm picking an upset with this one because I think I trust with the Bill Belichick more than Frank Wright. It's nothing against Frank Wright, though. He's a good coach. I really think he's a good coach, but I really think he's going to be doing pretty well right now. But I think the way he doesn't really have the players to do what he can right now. I mean, it's nothing against Phillip Rivers. I mean, Phillip Rivers isn't a veteran quarterback. I think they're going to go for a quarterback in the draft and go stuff like that. But anyways, that being said, I think my Patriots are going to beat out the Indianapolis Colts in this game. And I'm going to take my Patriots over the Indianapolis Colts as an upset in Indianapolis in this game. On the line, though, the Colts are favored by 2 in this game. That's why I'm questioning why Vegas is questioning the Patriots right now. So I'm going to take the Patriots +2 as my upset. Over and under, I was going to go under 45, but now they're not playing in the wind right now. I think they're going to go over that. So I'm going to take over 45.5. I think they're going to be winning it out on that one. The Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets in this game. Miami Dolphins going for their 7th win in a row, which I think it's 6 or 7 wins in a row now. Like, they start off 1-7 in the year, and now they're bouncing back, and I think they're going to go, like, their 7th win in a row, and I think they're going to try to do something like that. Try to get a wild card berth on rest, though. Anyways, that being said, I think that's a game that Miami Dolphins are going to win. It's at home. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins over the New York Jets in this game. On the line, though, the Dolphins are favored by 8.5 in this game. I'm going to take the Dolphins -8.5. Over and under, it's 42. I'm going to go under 42.5. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. Tyler Heineke. I really think he's going to be playing, but I'm not sure yet. It's going to be day-to-day. But Jalen Hurts is coming back, so it's going to be really good for Philadelphia. And it's at home at Philadelphia, so I think if Jalen Hurts plays, he's going to be fired up to play in that game. But I think for that game, for Philadelphia, I think this game is going to be a really, really good game. I really think it's going to be a division game, but I think Philadelphia is going to win this one out because they're more healthier than the Washington football team right now. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles over the Washington football team in this game. On the line, though, Philadelphia is favored by 4 in this game. I'm going to take Philadelphia -4. Over and under is 43.5. I'm going to go under 43.5. The Arizona Cardinals and the Detroit Lions. This game is a must situation for Detroit. Arizona right now. Arizona needs to win just to bounce back and at least try to get that #1 seed back. But I don't think that's going to happen right now. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I think Arizona, they're going to really bounce back from that loss against the LA Rams. So I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals over the Detroit Lions in Detroit in this game. On the line, though, Arizona's favored by 13.5, and I'm crazy to do this. I'm taking Arizona -13. Over and under is 47. I'm going to go under 47.5. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants in this game. This game is a must situation for Dallas, too, to keep their division hopes alive. Now, Dak needs to win. They had a good comeback last week against the Washington football team. Now they're going to try to knock down another division rival, and that's the New York Giants in this game. So I think that's going to do that. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys over the New York Giants in this game. On the line, though, the Dallas Cowboys are favored by 10.5 in this game. I'm not crazy enough to do that, so I'm going to take the New York Giants plus 10.5. Because I think the New York Giants want to try to fight the Dallas Cowboys, try to knock them out before the playoffs, so I think they're going to do that. In the over and under is 45. I'm going to go under 45. Just because because it's cold. I think the weather in New York, last time I checked for the weather in New York, for the weather game, I think for last night, I just looked it up over the weekend, so it is going to be cold under 42 degrees, so I think it's weather be a factor. But if it's Saturday, it's going to rain, I think that would be a different story. I definitely would have taken the under, but I think it's going to be the under anyway, so that's why I'm going to take the under 43, because they're playing out on the East Coast, and it's a little cold, so. Anyways, that being said, the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a must-win situation for Tennessee right now. This game is a must-win. They need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And I believe if they do win that, they get the AFC South. So they have to win this game in order to do that. Because now I picked my Patriots to win that game. And if they beat Indianapolis and get their AFC East crown, I think Tennessee gets the win here. And I believe they get the AFC South crown. The Southbound crown. So that division. So I think that's the way it's gonna go. So if that's the case for both teams, my Patriots going to help the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee's going to help themselves to get that division. So, anyways, that being said, that's the way I look at it for that. So I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans over the Pittsburgh Steelers and Pittsburgh, because I really can't trust Pittsburgh's offense right now. That's why. Defensively, I would say they're okay, but I don't know what's going on with them either. I wouldn't trust the Pittsburgh's defense either, because I think they're going to be looking at a quarterback coming into the draft next year, so I think that's something to look at. But I don't know. I'm really thinking about doing a draft class, at least for the first round. If you guys are interested in that, I'll probably look into something doing for that. Anyways, that being said, that's another topic for another day. So, anyways, that being said, I really think that's a game for the Tennessee to do. I like Tennessee taking down the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh in this game in Pittsburgh. So I take Tennessee over the Pittsburgh Steelers to win. On the line now, Tennessee's favored by 2.5 in this game. I'm going to take Tennessee -2.5. Over and under is 41. I'm going to go over 41 because I think Ryan Tannehill, Big Ben, they're going to put up some numbers. And I'm hoping that Derrick Henry comes back. I thought I heard something with that with Derrick Henry. I don't know if he's coming back this week or is it before the playoffs. So, but I heard that he's on track for the return to the playoffs. But I'm not. But I heard sooner, which I hope it's this year. But I really do miss him playing as a Patriots fan. I really respected Derrick Henry as a player. I really think they should keep him back in the playoffs soon. But I don't want to push him. If he's not ready to go yet, I wouldn't push it right away if I'm Tennessee. But for Tennessee's case, I wouldn't really worry too much about that right now. Just focus on the win. You needed a bye week, which was really helpful for you guys. You rested up. This is it. So that's the way I look at it for right there. But like I said, Tennessee over Pittsburgh. Tennessee -2.5 over 41.5. Jacksonville and Houston. Now this is a team. These are the two teams that have gone down to the two toilet bowls in this one. But I have to pick a winner for this one. If I have to pick someone, I'm probably going to trust more somebody on defense on this game. I believe it's going to be a defensive game. And that's why I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Houston Texans. The reason being, I think Jacksonville's defense is a much better defense than Houston. And I think if you're Houston's case, you just want the NFL draft and be the #1 seed right now. Because I think if they lose that one, because of the win in Detroit a couple weeks ago against Minnesota, I think they're going to clinch that, I think. But I don't know yet. So we got to find out how that draft class can go in the playoffs. Anyways, that being said, I think the way that's going to go, I think this is going to be, and it's in Jacksonville too, so that's going to help Jacksonville out. So I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars over Houston because Jacksonville has a much better defense than Houston right now. So I think that's the way I'm going to go with that. So on the line now, Jacksonville's favored by 3 in this game. I'm going to take Jacksonville -3. Over and under is 40. I'm going to go over 40 in this one. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Denver Broncos. This is a must situation for Cincinnati. Keep their playoff hopes alive. And I think they have another shot at doing that. I think they're going to take advantage of that. They're not going to let this one slip by again like they did against Detroit. San Francisco. I really think this is a must-win situation for Cincinnati. So you have to win to get their playoff hopes alive, despite being in Denver right now. So I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals over the Detroit and Denver Broncos in this game. On the line now, Cincinnati. And it's an upset, too. On the line now, Denver is favored by 1.5 in this game. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 1.5. Over and under is 43. I'm going to go over 43. The San Francisco 49ers and the Atlanta Falcons in this game. This is another must-win situation for San Francisco. They need to win out to get their playoff hopes alive. But if they don't win out this game, I don't know. It could be a question mark on that one. I think they're going to win this one out, but I don't think they're going to cover. I think Atlanta is really good on the covering spread this year. They have been doing the last few years, but they're not really a good team. So despite that, I think I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers at home against the Atlanta Falcons. On the line, though, now San Francisco's favored by 8 in this game. I'm going to take San Francisco plus 8. Over and under is 45. I'm going to go over 45. The Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens. Like I mentioned, Lamar Jackson's hurt. A lot of question marks going into that right now for Baltimore. They're in a similar situation for Tennessee right now with all the injury problems right now. I think that being said, I think Green Bay is in Lambeau. This is even tougher for Baltimore. I don't know what that came from. But anyways, that being said, Green Bay is going to win this game out and try to keep their #1 seed in the NFC intact. So I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers over the Baltimore Ravens in this game. On the line now, Green Bay is favored by 7 in this game. I'm going to take Green Bay -7. Over and under is 43.5. I'm going to go under 43.5. The LA Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. The LA Rams they're going to another tough win. They're going to go to another situation, another division rival. And they're going to probably take down the Seattle Seahawks in this game. But if you're Seattle, you're just going to play for pride and just check out your young talent to see what they can do from there. So, on this case, they're going to take the LA Rams at home against the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to take the Rams over the Seattle Seahawks in this game. On the line, though, the Rams are favored by 7 as well. I'm going to take the LA Rams -7. Over and under is 47. I'm going to go over 47. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. This is a must-win situation for Tampa Bay again. And a must-win situation for New Orleans. And I believe if Tampa Bay wins, they get the division. But if New Orleans wins, they got a shot at the division. So it's going to be like a must-win situation for both teams right now. But despite the big win against Buffalo for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, this is a must-win situation for Tampa Bay. And if for Tom Brady's case, you got your 700 win, you got on a game-winning touchdown in overtime. That was a great way to finish out that game. So anyways, that being said, I think for this game, because of that game, despite the loss of Leonard Fournette, I really think I think they lost Leonard Fournette. But I don't know if he's going to play or not. There's still a question on that for the injury. So, yeah, but, despite that, that was a really tough on Buffalo's side to do that. But Leonard Fournette, and if you're Mike Evans, you're going to probably step up too. So, you're going to step up to the plate as well. So, there's going to be a couple of good ones here and there. So, oh, wait, I thought I heard something about that, but no. So, anyways, that being said, I think I'm going to take the Bucs over the New Orleans Saints to win this game. On the line now, the Bucs are favored by 11.5 in this game. I'm going to take the Bucs -11. Over and under is 46. I'm going to go over 46. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win. Tampa Bay to cover 11.5, and I'm going to take the over 46.5. And for Monday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. All right. Minnesota, it's a must-win situation for them to keep their playoff hopes alive, but it's a Monday Night Football game. Kirk Cousins is at his weakness when it comes to primetime games, especially Monday Night Football. But the lone one win he got was last year on Monday Night Football was against the Chicago Bears. So, and I think it was around week 15 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I gotta look that up again. Which I gotta double check that just to make sure. Which I'm pretty sure if it's week 15. Yes, it was week 15. So yeah, Bears and Vikings meet again but this time in Chicago instead of Minnesota last year, because last year was in Minnesota, this time is in Chicago. So if you're gonna get your second win, might as well do it on the same team. So that's the way I look at it for this game. No disrespect for Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is gonna have another field day as well. So I think it's gonna be a really high scoring game. So I think I'm gonna take the Minnesota Vikings over the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. On the line though, Minnesota's favored by 4 in this game. I'm gonna take Minnesota -4. Over and under is 44. I'm gonna go over 44. Big shout out this week is my good old buddy Gavin O'Connor. Give this guy a shout out. I don't think I gave him a shout out this year, but give him some love too. Give my good old buddy Gavin O'Connor some love as well. You can check him out and check the NFL YouTube prognosticator page down below. Until then, this is Andrew Warren signing off, and I'm gonna see you all in my week 16 picks for my Christmas special. And rock out.